हाय जानीस, दिल खून के आंसू रो रहा है मगर ज़मीर खामोश है। होंठों पे मसलहत की मोहर जो लगी हुई है। द ग्लोबल टेररिस्ट, मेरा मतलब इजराइल और अमेरिका, कैसे दंदनाते हुए बैरूत में मासूम शहरियों के खून से होली खेल रहे हैं। हाँ, मगर मजाल है कि कोई मुसलमान बादशाह, वजीर, अमीर सदाए एहतजाज बुलंद करे। हाँ, दरअसल इनको अपने तख्ते जो प्यारे हैं, शायद ये लोग भूल जाते हैं कि यही तख्ते तख्त बन जाया करते हैं जिन पर इन बादशाहों को लटका दिया जाता है। जानीज, आई हैव अ कन्फेशन टू मेक। आप लोग तो जानते हैं कि मुझे बहुत कम लोगों से नफरत है, लेकिन एक औरत ऐसी है जिसका वजूद मेरे से बर्दाश्त नहीं होता। अब आप पूछेंगे कि वो कौन है? भाई, एनाकोंडा राइस, और कौन? आए हाय, इस कौंडी कम बखत ने ईयू को, यूएन की सिक्योरिटी काउंसिल को, G8 को लेबनान में सीज फायर करवाने से रुकवा दिया। The US does not want anybody to stop Israel from unleashing death and destruction. But you know what the sad part is? The sad part, Janis, is that nobody has the guts to stop America. अफसोस है तो उम्मा पर, हाय उसकी बेहिसी, उसकी कमजोरी पर। हाँ हाँ जानीस, याद है कि वो सुरमे वाली सरकार, जनरल ज़ियाउल हक, कैसे हर वक्त उम्मा की बातें किया करते थे। मैं कहती हूँ, कहाँ मर गई ये उम्मा। हाँ हाँ, हो सकता है शायद जनरल साहब के बनाए हुए हदूद ऑर्डिनेंस के किसी मुकदमे में मुलव्वस होकर अडियाला जेल भिजवा दी गई हो। जानीस, मैंने कहा गमे दौरा के साथ साथ गमे जाना का भी जिक्र कर लूँ। आप तो जानते हैं मेरी माय बेस्ट फ्रेंड ज़ैनब बंदूक वाला, बेचारी पिछले दिनों से बड़ी बीमार लग रही थी। लुकिंग ऑल हैगर्ड एंड टायर्ड। आई मेरे पास, मैंने कहा ज़ैनी चलो मैं तुम्हें डॉक्टर के पास ले चलूँ। सो आई टुक हर टू द डॉक्टर। डॉक्टर ने ज़ैनी को देखते ही कहा कि मिसेस बंदूक वाला, यू नीड टू हैव 3 होलसम मील्स एवरी डे। चली गई। आज फिर मेरे पास आई तो बड़ी चमक रही थी, बड़ी दमक रही थी। मैंने कहा वाह ज़ैनी, डॉक्टर के नुस्खे ने तो बड़ा काम कर दिखाया। कहने लगी हाँ नाजी, 3 होलसम मील्स एवरी डे हैज़ डन द ट्रिक फॉर मी। मैंने कहा ज़ैनी, डॉक्टर ने मील्स कहे थे, मेल्स नहीं। यू गॉट इट ऑल रॉन्ग। तो कहने लगी, आई मे हैव गॉट इट ऑल रॉन्ग बट यू नो व्हाट, इट हैज़ हैड द परफेक्ट इफेक्ट। तब से मैं भी कुछ बीमार सा महसूस करने लगी हूँ। कुछ दिन से मेरे मरहूम शौहर याद आने लगे हैं मुझको। हाय, बड़ी याद आती है उनकी। मुझे अब भी याद है अपने आखिरी दिनों में कुछ निढाल से थके से लगने लगे थे। तो मैंने कहा, नवाजिश जानी, एज हैज़ कॉट अप विद यू। कहने लगी, ये तुम कैसे कह सकती हो? मैंने कहा, जानी, वो काम जो पहले तुम पूरा दिन, पूरी रात किया करते थे, अब वही काम करने में तुम्हें पूरा दिन और पूरी रात लग जाती है। हाँ, he got so confused, poor soul. हाँ, वो नहीं रहे तो कभी कभी ये मकान काटने को दौड़ता है। वो थे तो ये मकान घर लगता था। घर वाले के बगैर घर का तस्वुर ही नहीं है। क्या करूं, मेरी ये बात कोई समझता ही नहीं है। मैंने तो बहुत समझाया, हर हफ्ते मेहमान आ जाते हैं तो कुछ रौनक लग जाती है। आज मैंने अपने एक पुराने दोस्त को बुलाया है जो लोगों के लिए मकान बनाता है। उससे पूछूंगी कि मकान को घर कैसे बनाऊं, शायद वही कोई जवाब दे दे। आओ हबीब फिदा अली। And Habib, how are you? I would have looking forward to giving you a kiss, but you know how it is. National celebrity. Have a seat. Oh Habib, you look well. ये बताओ कि आजकल क्या बना रहे हो, बातें या बिल्डिंग्स?
बहुत कुछ। बिल्डिंग भी बन रही है, घर भी बन रहे हैं, स्कूलें भी बन रही है, यूनिवर्सिटी भी बन रही है, बहुत कुछ हो रहा है।
That's great, हबीब। वैसे एक बात है, तुम लोगों के लिए नए घर, नए मकान तामीर करते हो, लेकिन खुद एक पुराने रेनोवेटेड घर में रहते हो।
बिल्कुल।
इसकी क्या वजह है? टेल मी, आर यू इनटू ओल्डर थिंग्स डार्लिंग?
बिल्कुल। No, I was brought up in an old house.
Okay.
I'm an old Karachiite. My father was born here. I was born here. और जब मैं लंदन से आया पढ़ के, so I was in a search for an old house. And thanks to my very good friend, I was having dinner with them one night, and he said, Habib, आपके लिए मैंने घर ढूंढा है, जो आपकी पसंद का है. मैंने कहा चलो देखते हैं. And it was a moonlight, and we drove past. And I said, I'll take it. नहीं, उसने कहा पहले देख लो, बिल्कुल ख़त्म हो गया है मकान, बंजर है बिल्कुल. मैं कहा नहीं, I'll take it. So I struck a deal with the landlady. It's a trust property actually. And thank God, being a trust property, it's there. There were 7 in a row, these old houses, just below the Clifton Bridge. All gone now. And this remains. And I took it in bits and pieces, and I restored it. It was a pleasure. And I've been living there for the last maybe 35 years now. And this house has brought me great luck, comfort, and a lot of PR. People know me by the house, as you just mentioned. So I love this old property. And vis-a-vis, when Mohata was to be restored, Governor asked Kamal officer, मैंने कहा कि नहीं मैं ही करूँगा, because I'm the one. I'm an old Karachiite, कि मेरा हक बनता है. There were a lot of other, architects who wanted to do it, but he said no, you will do it, because I've loved the house that you stay in. उसकी बदौलत मैंने मोहाटो को भी रिस्टोर किया. So I love old things.
I know, darling. I'm also completely into old things. Sometimes I like to try new ones, though. Too, you know how it is.
You must.
But of course, I could teach
Old
you
is
a few
gold,
new,
as they say.
new things also. But as they say, old things are always good. And I live in an old house also, and I love your house, darling. I love your house. I love everything in your house.
No,
but
no,
रह के ख्याल आता है कि तुम्हारे इतने हसीन घर में सिर्फ एक चीज की कमी है. जानते हो वो चीज क्या है, हबीब?
मुझे पता है क्या पूछो.
क्या बोलोगी? हाँ हबीब, तुम्हारे घर में मेरी कमी है.
बिल्कुल. You're most welcome.
नहीं मतलब
I have a guest room upstairs. You're most welcome to stay with me. I have friends who come and stay with me. They love to be my guests. I had a cousin who's married to a girl from Delhi. He lives in Mauritius. And she was just here last week. She is fantastic. She dresses like you. She talks like you. And she's a big shopper. I believe you're a big shopper.
Of course, darling.
Yes, and I can see that by your attire. Diamonds galore, jewelry, wonderful, lovely sari, lovely hairdo. And she loves shopping. She loves life. मैं कहता हूँ मॉरिशस में कितने दिन ठहरती हो? कह रहे हबीब 4 महीने सिर्फ. Other 8 months I travel. I visit Delhi, I visit Bombay, I go to London, I go to New York. She travels. And she loves to come to Pakistan. She has wonderful friends here, relations here. तो मुझे उसकी याद आ रही है. And she stayed in my guest room.
But I would love to meet her also. और
Next
अगर तुम
time.
चाहो तो उसके साथ मेरी रिश्तेदारी भी हो सकती है.
बिल्कुल.
We could
बड़ा competition होगा.
competition होगा ना.
बिल्कुल.
Your cousin would be very jealous though, because
Oh, she would be.
he'll know who the better woman is.
Yeah, he would be very
हाँ,
jealous.
He would be very
ये
jealous.
दो
of
कैसे
you.
मिल गए?
हाँ, ये दोनों कैसे मिल गए? लेकिन हबीब, you never got married.
No, I'm very selfish. Nazi, I'm very selfish.
Well, I like honesty in a man though.
Yeah, because I love to travel, I have to be alone. And marriage is not everything in life. क्या है? एक दो बंदों का वो है ना, एक रिश्ता है ना. मेरे तो हजारों से रिश्ता है. I have wonderful friends. I stay with them. I travel with them. I take my friends all over the world. I've taken them to China. I've been taken to Egypt, India, Spain. A group of friends. And they are my love. They are my, my life. I stay with them. Every Sunday we play cards. So I don't miss, and I'm selfish, as I said, because I like to do things my way. अगर बीवी होती तो वो कोने में खड़ी रहती. That's all.
हाय, मेरी जैसी होती तो कभी कोने में ना खड़ी रहती.
No, you would have been on a chaise lounge,
course,
resting.
Of course, resting with
having
my cocktail glass in my hand.
Wonderful, wonderful. Sundowners every evening.
I know, but and I think and you're right to a certain extent कि अगर मेरे अलावा कोई भी और होती तो yes, there would have been stress in life, and that's probably the reason that you look so happy, mashallah.
No, I'm very happy.
But Habib, talking of films, films have been, I mean, apart from buildings and architecture, really.
Nazi, that's
films
my first love. My
was your
first
first
love.
love.
I wanted to be not a film actor or anything. I wanted to be a film director.
A filmmaker, really.
Filmmaker. I wanted to be that. And then when I told this to my parents, they had a fit. कि क्या film director बनोगे? हाँ हाँ मैंने कहा क्या बात है. Anyway, it's a long story. But to cut the long story short, I had a very good artist tutor, an artist tutor at HSN. I went to HSN, which changed my life actually. And that's where I was introduced to Shahnur Studios. हमारे एक दोस्त होते थे, बड़ी करीब के दोस्त होते थे, फरीद अहमद, Sami, I used to call him Sami. He was married briefly to Shamim Arab. पुरानी बातें पुरानी.
नहीं सुन के खुशी होती है. कानों में सब बात में जो भी पढ़ रही है मेरे मेरे जहन में वो नक्शा सा बनता जा रहा है. सब एक स्केच सा बनता जा रहा है. And I'm somehow I'm imagining myself back in time really. Such wonderful times really. मुझे एक बात बड़ी अजीब सी लगती है. पता नहीं कराची को क्या हो गया. 250 गज के प्लॉट पे पूरा का पूरा एक्रोपोलिस बना हुआ है. 500 गज के प्लॉट पर एक वाइट हाउस बना हुआ है. 8 मरले पर शीश महल तामीर है.
कमाल है ना.
हमारे यहाँ इतना ग्रैंडियोज डिल्यूजन्स कहाँ से लोगों को शौक है.
It's fun. I think it's great fun. एक हमारे बायलॉज चेंज हो जाए ना. See, land has become so expensive in Karachi. So expensive, it's मगर हमारे आर्केक बायलॉज हैं बिल्डिंग बनाने के लिए. ठीक है कंपल्सरी ओपन स्पेसेस छोड़ दें मगर आप जितना भी बनाना चाहें. मगर यहाँ तो है कि 1/3 and 2/3 and वगैरह वगैरह. Nowhere in the world. अब श्रीलंका जाइए, people build, chock-full. मगर अच्छे मकान बनते हैं वहाँ भी. मगर हमारे बायलॉज बड़े ख़राब हैं. बहुत आर्केक है, मतलब ख़राब नहीं है, आर्केक पुराने हैं. They have to be changed. कराची को देखें, I mean, look at all these ugly signage जो चल रही है, होर्डिंग्स जो बनी हुई है. मुलाजिम ने कहा 3-4 महीने पहले कि हम उसको उड़ा देंगे. एक नहीं उड़ी है. They are still there. You look at the Sean Circle, you look at the FTC roundabout, वहाँ 20 और 25 huge hoardings है. कराची को improve करें जी. कराची can be a beautiful city. हमारी जो सड़कें हैं बड़ी अच्छी हैं, very wide roads हैं, बड़ी पुख्ता सड़कें हैं. You go to other cities, you go to a city like Bombay or Calcutta, you will suffocate. You go to Delhi, शानदार city है, which was the cleanest city before partition. It's become the dirtiest city now. Why? Because civic sense nahi hamari. The civic agency they don't operate, the way they should. Chaos hai.
I know, but मेरी तो परवेज़ भाई से बात होती रहती है. वैसे तो बड़ा मुझे कहते हैं कि नाज़ी I love Karachi and I love Karachi because of you. और मैं उनको इतना कहती हूँ कि I feel terrible about a lot of stuff. लेकिन मेरी बात सुनते नहीं हैं वो. मैं चाहती हूँ कि आप उनको समझाएं. और अगर आप समझाएंगे तो आप उनको क्या समझाएंगे या आप क्या मशवरा देंगे गवर्नमेंट को? How would you like, what changes would you like to see in the city?
You had Begum Jalil on your program.
Of course.
Nasreen Jalil, who was a very dear friend. And I keep on telling her, I said, do something. Do something in the city of Karachi.
But Yasmin did. Her elder sister, of course, Yasmin Nari, with her initiative, Caravan Karachi. जो इन्होंने.
Yeah, मगर it's like a drop in the ocean. It's like a drop in the ocean. कुछ नहीं. नजर ही नहीं आता वो. बेचारी ने बहुत कुछ किया उन्होंने.
But Habib, that's the whole tragedy. अगर हम एक initiative लेते हैं, तो that has to be. We need to be facilitated. People like Yasmin Lari would need to be facilitated, and the state needs to really do that.
Because support her.
Huh.
And she does very good work. She's very enlightened, and she cares for the city of Karachi. And I'm sure Nasreen Jalil also cares for the city of Karachi. Magar, ये अकेले नहीं हो सकता. It has to be joint effort of the एजेंसीज जो है हमारी KDA है, KMC है, कंटोनमेंट बोर्ड है, डिफेंस अथॉरिटी है, ये सब मिलके करें तो कुछ कराची इम्प्रूव होगा. पहले तो होर्डिंग्स को हटाएं. आई एम डेडली अगेंस्ट दिस रेचेड होर्डिंग्स. अगली लुक, शाहराह फैसल पे नहीं होगी तो 500 से 600 ज़्यादा होर्डिंग्स हैं. किसी शहर में नहीं है.
हबीब, आई थिंक हाफ द रीज़न फॉर दैट इज कि एजेंसीज जिनका आपने जिक्र किया, KDA एंड KWSP or whatever agency you're talking about, they're not as effective as the other agencies. अब उनको कौन कन्विंस करे? वो तो किसी की सुनते नहीं है ना.
इस्लामाबाद सुनती नहीं हमारी,
है ना.
They live in their own world.
They live in their old world, and as they
And when
say,
they come
Islamabad,
here, we have a total chaos. Traffic बंद हो जाती है, लोगों को
बिजली चली
मुश्किल
जाती है,
अरे
पानी
बिजली
खत्म
की
हो
तो बात
जाता
ही ना
है,
करें.
है ना?
I wish Bushra Ansari would do a Bijli program. You
Hi,
know,
she should.
remember?
Actually,
She
I
did that wonderful show.
Bijli, of course, of
Bijli,
course.
she was a Bijli.
Of course, darling. But you know, अब उसकी रिप्लेसमेंट आ गई है. अब असल बिजली आई है.
आई है, बिल्कुल.
अब असल बिजली आई है हबीब फिदा अली. आंखें
But ये
खोल कर
कैंडल्स
देखो
कैंडल्स नहीं जलनी
तो हर
चाहिए.
तरफ
बिजली जब है तो
शमा है,
कैंडल्स
हर
की क्या
तरफ रोशनी
जरूरत?
है. हाय मेरी जान, मैंने कहा कि
रोमांटिक कर रहा है.
रोमांटिक माहौल बनाया जाए, यू नो. अच्छा, टेल मी व्हिच रूम ऑफ योर इन योर ओन हाउस, अपने घर का सबसे ज्यादा कौन सा कमरा पसंद है?
My study.
योर स्टडी.
My study which has everything.
Everything, darling.
Everything. My music, my films, my books. I love books.
But you know, I'd love to come to your study room and I'd love to study, you know what? You, darling. You.
Wonderful.
And your eyes.
Thank you
इतने
very
बड़े
much.
घर में अकेले रहते हो हबीब, मेरा दिल बड़ा खटकता है.
नहीं,
देखो
मैं
तुम
अकेला
वहाँ
नहीं
इतने
हूँ.
बड़े घर में अकेले.
नहीं, बिल्कुल अकेला नहीं हूँ नादी, because I have my office there. So from 9 till 7, I'm totally with my architects and my draftsmen and whatnot. Then I have a wonderful cook, Alam, who, if I'm staying at home, he makes wonderful things for me to have. Very simple but very nice. And then I'm out in the evening, so I never feel lonely.
हबीब, और अगर आज भी तुम मेरी ऑफर को ठुकरा कर चले गए ना, you'll
बिल्कुल
have
नहीं.
nothing but regrets, darling, later on.
नहीं.
I'm being very nice to you. मैं ये भूल गई गुस्सा.
अभी मैं टाइम देख रहा हूँ, अभी वक्त है, इसके बाद शो के बाद हम आएंगे. आप घर आइए मेरे, खाना खाइए, नो प्रॉब्लम.
अभी रात को ही लेके चलोगे?
बिल्कुल.
चलो ठीक है.
बिल्कुल.
क्या क्या खिलाओगे मुझे?
हाँ हाँ, just a question.
क्या क्या खिलाओगे बोलो?
बहुत. आलू गोश्त, दाल, मच्छी. And if you want, I'm very good at souffle and accordion toast, which I did a program.
I know. By the way, I got a chance to watch that program.
बिल्कुल देखिए.
आज की लड़की का प्रोग्राम मैं देखती हूँ, you know, जो कहती फिरती है I can't cook, और इसी बहाने, you know, काफी influential लोगों को
She may not.
के घरों में घुसकर उनसे खाने पकाने सीखने के बहाने उनके
बिल्कुल.
करीब आ जाती है.
बिल्कुल.
हाय, शक्ल से तो बड़ी मासूम लगती है, but मुझे लगता है she's got an agenda behind the whole thing, really.
नहीं, बहुत प्यारी लगी है.
How was the
Wonderful.
experience?
Zainab
I
is
know.
lovely.
I
I met her for the first time.
अच्छा.
And we got along beautifully.
Hi, I was just joking. मेरे बच्चों की तरह बिल्कुल. I know.
बहुत प्यारी लगी.
बहुत प्यारी बच्ची. I love her. बट अभी आपने मुझे इतनी सारी चीज़ें गिनवा दी कि आप मुझे आलू गोश्त खिलाएंगे और मच्छी खिलाएंगे और दाल खिलाएंगे, सूफले खिलाएंगे.
Souffle भी है.
What
And there's a
about-
Parsi dish called accordion toast. If you want just a snack.
Even sounds
It goes
delicious.
very well with.
But what
you know.
about you, darling? What about
Me?
you? I mean,
Nadi, this question with a question mark there, you know. लोग मेरी बंदूक लेके मेरे पीछे आ जाएंगे. मेरी दोस्त. कह रही हबीब, what is this going on?
तुम्हारी दोस्त?
हाँ, I have wonderful friends.
अच्छा, तुम्हारी
very
किसी
close.
खास का जिक्र हो रहा है शायद.
हाँ, खास कर तो करो, वो डबल बैरल लेके आ जाएगी और तुम्हारा वही मर्डर हो जाएगा.
Now there's a twist to the whole plot, really.
बिल्कुल.
है ना? अब आया ना वो
There
Star
has to be
Plus
a
वाला.
mystery.
Of course, अब
There
वो आया
has to
Star
be.
Plus.
बिल्कुल.
You know, there have to be two women for the excitement to come on, really.
बिल्कुल.
है ना?
And I'll call my cousin from Mauritius. My cousin's wife from Mauritius.
हाँ.
वो तो आपको कत्ल कर देगी.
It sounds so romantic. Habib Fida Ali.
It is a nice name.
Begum Habib Fida Ali. Begum Nawazish Ali.
देखो.
हाय, देखो.
नहीं, I won't put Begum next to my name.
No, not to you.
No, I mean your name. My Begum.
No.
No, just Nazi Habib.
Nazi Habib.
Doesn't sound nice.
हाय, नाजी तो
Begum
फिदा हो
तो लगता है कि
गई.
आप घरारे में हैं या you know वगैरह वगैरह.
But
Begum
Jaan,
is a
by
very.
the way, आज तुम्हारे साथ तुम आए हो ना, मेरे पास बैठे हो, तो तुम्हें देख के मैं इंस्पायर हुई और मैं अपने देखने वालों को, हमारे देखने वालों को खुशखबरी सुनाने वाली हूँ कि आप बहुत जल्द देखेंगे मुझे एक ब्रांड न्यू अंदाज में. You know, I think I need a makeover.
बिल्कुल.
है ना? आई थिंक हर पुरानी बिल्डिंग को एक मेकओवर की जरूरत रहती है. लेकिन उन्हें having a person
No,
like
I'm not going to ask those personal questions. You
you
know.
can ask anything, darling. I have nothing to hide.
कि आप कितनी दफा रियो
दफा?
ब्राजील गई हैं, रियो गई हैं. You know for what? You know why people go to Rio for?
No, Jaan, and interestingly मैं एक दफा भी नहीं गई क्योंकि
नहीं.
तो मुझे कोई ले जाने वाला ही नहीं था. इतनी दूर है रियो,
नहीं
ब्राजील, आधी
लोग
दुनिया
पहुंच जाते
घूमने
हैं
के-
वहाँ. You know for what?
For what? I didn't know.
You know.
Oh, darling, please, I'm
It's
totally
cheaper
against.
there. It's cheaper
I
there.
know it's cheaper
darling.
there, but sweetie, I have a problem. मैं तो नाइफ से बड़ा घबराती हूँ.
एक तुम्हारी जैसी है हमारी दोस्त, वो कई दफा गई है. रियो तो नहीं गई, जर्मनी जाती थी.
अच्छा.
हाँ. And she looks. She's नानी बन गई है, दादी बन गई है, and she looks like 40.
Habib,
I'm
you
not
know
joking.
what? अगर if you're trying to suggest कि मैंने कोई अपने ऊपर सर्जन की छुरी फरवाई है कहीं पे भी तो डार्लिंग ऐसा कुछ
then
नहीं
I have to
हुआ.
look-
आई एम ऑल
then I have to look closer to you.
Of course
you know,
you can,
वगैरह
of
वगैरह
course,
देख के
of
कि वहाँ
course,
कोई
of course.
कोई वो तो नहीं है,
हाँ,
cuts तो नहीं है.
मेरे भी हुस्न और जवानी
नहीं,
का
नहीं,
राज वही है जो तुम्हारा है. खुशी.
बिल्कुल खुशी.
You know, no children, no
Exactly,
baggage, no
exactly.
nothing. You know, it's
Nothing.
me,
And God
my
has been kind to
friends,
us.
my friends, my
No,
happiness,
God
my
has been
time.
kind to you. God has been kind to me.
Mashallah.
You know,
Really, we
we've
have so
traveled,
much.
we've seen the world, we have wonderful friends. हम हंसते हैं. You
पता है
know.
मुझे गुस्सा किस चीज़ पर आता है हबीब? कभी कभी मुझे आता है गुस्सा उम्मा पर. You know कि किस दीदा दलेरी से अमेरिका ने और इजराइल ने you know they've unleashed their aggression and उनके टारगेट हम मुसलमान हैं. You know, और how the Muslim governments you know कि किस तरह वो सर्द में ठंडे पड़े हुए हैं इस मामले के ऊपर. You know, and they're not being able to fight this aggression really.
No, a small little nation like Israel, which was created on their land, and the Israeli has the audacity, and they haven't learned from history what the Jews went through in Germany and Poland, and you know, in the Eastern European countries. They haven't learned a lesson. You know, it's a high time they learned a lesson. You know, खुदा किसी को बख्शता नहीं
बख्शता. और मुझे लगता है कि इजराइल खुद तो जो डूबेगा सो डूबेगा, अपने साथ इस हाथी अमेरिका को भी लेकर डूबेगा.
And they, I think the Israelis themselves are now realizing. I think they're realizing, you know.
Anyway, I think on a lighter note now, let's change the topic.
I know.
कहोगे कि बहुत संजीदा.
नहीं, ये बहुत intellectual पे हम आ गए और
ज़्यादा
ये
हो
बहुत.
गया. लेकिन मुझे ये बताओ कि हमने वादा किया था नरगिस का, क्योंकि आज भी बहुत सारे लोग हैं जो नरगिस के बहुत दीवाने हैं. You know, and I have been her fan also.
Really?
So I went to.
She was a great
Bombay.
actress.
She was, no doubt.
Great
One
actress.
of the finest.
And we used to call her Fatty.
अच्छा.
Not that she was fat, but उसका pet name था Fatty. उसका नाम फातिमा था ना? नरगिस का नाम फातिमा था, and उसको Fatty कहते थे. हाँ, I think so. उसका नाम pet name Fatty था.
But had she converted to? Of course, she was a Muslim.
She was a Muslim, and उनके भाई थे अख्तर हुसैन, अनवर हुसैन,
of course.
वगैरह वगैरह. And she used to live in Chateau Marine, Marine Drive पे, and a few blocks away was Suraya. So I used to, you know, I was a great friend of Suraya.
अच्छा.
But Suraya had something. Suraya reminded, she loved. See, Nargis was a very simple girl. She was like a tomboy. Suraya had elegance, you know. अब उसकी फिल्में देखे, and her best, I think, film she came out was in Mirza Ghalib. Remember the way she dressed, the way she has sang and everything, and of course many other films, you know, from Anmol Ghadi to Choti Behan and वगैरह वगैरह. But she was a great actress.
I know. मैं तो उसका गाना.
No, उसका एक वो था, style था, and nobody could beat that style. And then of course came Meena Kumari and you know others. You see,
and so many of them.
Many of them.
So many of them.
Which is your favorite movie? Indian movie? I'll tell you my favorite movie.
They've been so many, but I think Saha Bibi or Khula. Don't say you like it.
My favorite movie too.
Oh, did you hear that, all of you?
Swear to God, Meena Kumari. And Rahman, and Wahida Rahman, and Guru Dutt.
Of course, Guru Dutt.
The whole cast.
Cast.
And remember when she dresses and she wants to seduce Rahman and she sings that wonderful song and usko wo kapde pehnti hai, jodi pe. I forget, I'm very bad at remembering the song. The most beautiful song. And she was at her best in that movie.
But you know, can't you see, Habib? You're an architect. You have
the eye.
But can't you see? Can't you see? It is so obvious.
And that's why, you know, I was so disappointed with Devdas. Because they wanted to depict Bengal. वो हवेली में shoot की हुई थी, and they showed the decadency of the Bengal.
Which Devdas are you talking about?
Oh, the new Devdas I'm talking about, for heaven's sake.
Although I love Madhuri's number, वो
no, वो अच्छे हैं. We want to make a musical. The dance numbers were gorgeous and everything. You know, I think Madhuri Dixit made the movie because of her dances. See? Aishwarya Rai was there, an appendage. Shah Rukh was hopeless. I think Madhuri was the best in that whole movie. And Jackie Shroff को तो करना ही नहीं, आना ही नहीं चाहिए था. Motilal was there in the original Devdas with Dilip Kumar. And what a movie.
और पता है क्या? अभी हम दोनों को देखकर लोग यही कह रहे होंगे कि ये दोनों भी they're magnificent together.
Why not?
But you
संभाल के बोला करो.
उससे पहले कहीं बाहर ले जाओगे ना मुझे तुम दूर.
बिल्कुल.
इनकी पहुंच से दूर ले जाओगे. और अगर यहाँ पे डाला भी ना और समझो मुझे जेल भेज भी दिया तो फिर
यहाँ डेजर्ट आइलैंड है भी नहीं ना.
हाँ.
यहाँ डेजर्ट आइलैंड है भी नहीं ना.
डेजर्ट आइलैंड नहीं है, लेकिन मुझे जेल जाने का खतरा नहीं है. क्योंकि तुम मेरे दोस्त हो और मुझे पता है तुम जेल को आके रेनोवेट करवा दोगे.
मैं तो एक दफा जा चुका हूँ.
जेल?
हाँ.
Sorry.
Yes.
And
Don't you know?
No, I didn't know that.
Yes.
How was that experience?
Oh, this is a long story.
Actually, you have to tell me that.
बिल्कुल बेनज़ीर का तख्ता उल्टा. She was a dear friend of mine. लोग मेरे पीछे पड़ गए. I was doing a project for the National Bank. ठीक है. वो अब्बासी साहब प्रेसिडेंट थे वहाँ. एंड FIR हमारे पीछे पड़ गया कि भाई इतना खर्चा किया, ये क्या, फलाना क्या, टीम का क्या. मैंने कहा मैं आर्किटेक्ट हूँ भाई. You know, that's it. And they put me behind bars for about 10 days. But I had a marvelous time.
Really?
They put me in a house where Hakim al-Zardari stayed. And I had 3 jailers looking after me. कोई मेरी शेव बना रहा है, कोई मेरी breakfast बना रहा है, कोई मेरा बात बना रहा है. I never had such comfort.
हाय, तुम तो बड़ा मिस करते होगे फिर जेल को.
हाँ.
हाय, सोचो अगर मैं भी तुम्हारे साथ होती तो कितना मजा आता. इकट्ठे कैसे.
वो भी मिस था लाइफ में. वो भी हमने
चख लिया मजा उसका.
मजा चख लिया.
Thank God I haven't been. But I heard women's jails are quite rotten. You know.
Yes.
बड़े उनके साथ.
But they've released all of them now.
अल्लाह का शुक्र. That's one good thing that Parvez bhai has done in recent times. Really.
Wonderful.
You know, and I think for women really, and I think on that note really, I have a woman, a very talented, creative, a progressive woman who believes in herself, and she's a filmmaker, by the way.
Wonderful.
She shares your passion.
Really?
So I think
Would love to meet her.
I'm sure you would, and I'm sure कि आप लोगों को भी मिलकर बहुत खुशी हुई होगी. She's here, and I'm going to invite her now. Step right in, Sabiha Sumar. Sabiha, it's so wonderful to see you. इससे पहले अभी हबीब फिदा अली साहब आए हुए थे. साहब कहा मैंने.
नहीं, just call me Habib.
हबीब आए हुए थे. और हबीब के साथ बड़ी मजे की गुफ्तगू चल रही थी. And you know, इनका भी पैशन फिल्म मेकिंग रहा है. And you know, it is so wonderful that you could come over this evening.
Thank you for inviting me. It's a pleasure.
How does it feel? एक तो पहले तुम पाकिस्तान आती रहती हो.
जी, I live here in Karachi.
Okay.
Mostly, yes.
Mostly. And how do you like, you know, making Silent Water or Khamosh Pani? Have you seen the film?
I haven't seen, but I have the DVD with me, and I'm going to see it very soon.
किसी तौर कोई खामोश पानी बनाना आसान काम नहीं होगा. You know, it must have been a very, very difficult job. I'd like to know what kind of difficulties did you have to face?
You know, it's probably the most difficult thing I've ever done in my life. It really was very hard. एक प्रॉब्लम तो सबसे बड़ा ये है कि पाकिस्तान में कोई इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर नहीं है प्रोफेशनल फिल्म मेकिंग के लिए. तो राइट फ्रॉम द स्क्रैच, यू नो, फ्रॉम हायरिंग इक्विपमेंट टू स्टॉक to getting heads of departments for different areas like production design, costume, makeup, production, line production, everything you had to get someone from abroad to do it, because you know the way a film goes, it's like being in war. I mean, you really have to be very, very systematic and be ready for the next move and the next and next. And if something goes wrong, you really have to be there to solve that problem instantly. You know, it's not like कि कल हो जाएगा, अच्छा ये वो बाद में कर लेंगे, चल जाएगा. It doesn't happen like that. So it was very difficult because we had to import almost everything and everyone from abroad. And because it had to be made at international standards, that's how I work, and that's where my work is always shown. So and then finding that, you know, we had a lot of training workshops for people, so that we had a costume designer, say, and she was training, you know, people under her. But people who were being trained were really not very keen to be trained in a way, because they felt कि ये काम तो हमें बाद में करना नहीं होगा इतनी, you know, उस तरीके से जिस तरह से आप सिखा रहे हैं, क्योंकि यहाँ तो सब झटपट का काम चलता है, तो आप बस ये कर लें और चला दें काम, और ये कर लें और वो चला दें. So it was all very difficult because we were dealing, you know, we wanted to do something different, and the mindset was quite different here. So,
but I think it was the first India-Pakistan joint venture, as in using artists from here and there, combining technicians from the two countries in a long time, really, wasn't it?
Well, yes, we did use some Indian artists, but it was not really a joint venture because we didn't do it officially as a joint production with any company, or didn't have any financial assistance. It's like, I'm a filmmaker, and if I like to cast someone from South Africa, then I'll just bring them over. You know, so it was like that. To just go to a country, do auditions and see what's best for you. I did auditions all over Pakistan as well. So, you know, wherever I found the best person to do my character, it could have been anywhere. I didn't really go to India for a specific purpose of doing a joint venture. It just so happened that Kiran fitted the role beautifully. And we thought she was, you know, she was just very good. Yes, she's a great actress. So it worked out like that, really. But I'm really happy that it did, because it is the first Pakistani film to be shown in India in 35 years. So, you know, that was quite nice. And then Mughal-e-Azam followed here in Pakistan as the first Indian film.
अच्छा, एक चीज़ मुझे तुमसे सवाल ज़रूर पूछना है कि वो ईरा जिसको मैं शायद and I'll be a bit partial now, but जिसको मैं शायद पाकिस्तान का तारीख तरीन era in a sense or turning point समझती हूँ, you chose to depict that certain era. What was your inspiration?
You know, I was growing up at that time, and I saw the world change around me and the country change around me. We've got to remember that while Zia-ul Haq was ruling Pakistan, there was Reagan in America, and there was Margaret Thatcher in Britain. So conservatism everywhere was growing, you know. And for me, it was important to see that the process of change that we went through, to catch that slice of life. Because, you know, when you talk to people today, वो हमेशा यही कहेंगे कि हम तो हमेशा से ऐसे ही थे, हमारी दीवारें तो हमेशा से ऊंची थी, हमारे स्कूल के यूनिफॉर्म की स्लीव्स तो हमेशा से लंबी थी, हम तो हमेशा से सर पे चादर ओढ़ते थे. But that was not the case. And I wanted to show that we were put through a process of change. And the difficulty in Pakistan has been that the state has never said कि आप ये करेंगे और ये नहीं करेंगे. Even in Zia's time, there was no state dictate to say you have to cover your head, for example. Television पे थोड़े वक्त के लिए आया था, but it was not something that was, you know, we were not under an Islamic revolution as such. The Islamic revolution crept in.
It was not like Iran as such.
Sorry?
In Iran it was.
Yes, that's what I mean, that in Iran it was, yes. It was very drastic. So you knew what you had to fight, you know. Here it was very insidious. The process just crept in and took over you. So that from within we changed as a people. From within we became a more religious, more conservative nation, you know. And it's very difficult today to tell people that we were not like this, you know.
It was like a seed being sown, you see. And,
yes.
And now we see it growing up as a tree, you see.
You know,
It's
Zia,
all spread over.
General Zia was my neighbor, of course, in Multan. Very few people know this, कि हम साथ साथ ही रहते थे, पास ही रहते थे. But you know, मैंने कभी अपने घर की दीवारें बड़ी नहीं होने दी, मैंने तो और छोटी करवा दी. And you know, my blouses kept shrinking with time, really. I stood against everything that he stood for. But, you know, I feel अभी आपने Islamic Revolution की बात की. And somehow, you know, I think it'll be unfair to call it an Islamic revolution, really. I think that was the time when religion was brought into effect for to serve political interests, really, or vested interests of Western powers. You know, and since then, मैं समझती हूँ कि इस्लाम की बदनामी ही तब से शुरू हुई. So it was actually not an Islamic revolution, it was an anti-Islamic revolution. That is how I would term it. What would you say, Habib Fida Ali?
You know, since we are talking about Zia-ul Haq, I had an opportunity to meet him, and I had an opportunity to design the president's house in Islamabad. He was so humble, I'll tell you, Nazi. I went to his house to make a presentation, and I was made to sit in his living room, and he came himself and he said, aapko chai bhai, aapne pi, nahi pi? And then he introduced me to the family, you know. I made a presentation to the family. He was so humble to see me off at the car, you know, wonderful. Okay, Islamization, this. I mean, it's bothered the whole nation. But as a person, I had the opportunity to meet him, you know, and he was very gracious. So you can see.
Very humble and very gracious. But John, I can never forgive him. You know, mere ZAB ko phansi di. You know, and I have no qualms in admitting that ZAB was a very good friend, and I was very fond of him, and I think he did not deserve.
So he had two sides to himself, you know.
But I think that, you know, the nation can never forgive what Zia did. I mean, he completely depoliticized this country. He took away our culture. He said, you know, we were not subcontinental people. We were actually Arabs, which was completely crazy. The
but did he
terror
say
that
these
he
things?
unleashed with Zede Bhutto's...
But did he say these things?
Sorry?
Did he say these things?
Well, he
I
made
wonder.
them... I mean, he may not have said it, but he made it happen.
No, he
because
did say a lot of these things. He did say, of course he said that. Come on.
Yeah, but how can he say we were not subcontinental? I mean, you know.
It's the
Yeah,
laws
I
that
mean,
you
but,
make.
but it's the way he programmed our culture, the way he funded. What did he fund in this country?
yeah.
The first time that arms ever came into universities was during his time, when at Karachi University, the Jamaat-e-Islami was
It was
armed
created, yeah,
by
yeah.
General Zia-ul Haq's
And
regime.
so was MQM created by him, in a way, to offset PPP.
Yes, well,
you
that's
know.
true. That's
Wagara,
common knowledge.
wagara.
We all know
Well,
that.
So, matlab hai ki,
that's-
But it took a life of its own then,
exactly.
really.
And now look at MQM.
But now it's a major political player and a
Major
major
party.
political force.
It came.
I mean,
It came during his time. It was never during ZAB's time.
Yes, but Zulfikar Ali Bhutto did his own bit of...
सबने किया
Well,
मैंने
you know,
सबने
his-
अपना अपना
I
बिट किया
think,
किसी ने
I mean, with
मतलब है कि
prohibition,
देखना,
I mean, if
इधर
you
देखना।
really see,
I think
Islamization
it's-
started
I
with
think it's
him.
not fair to put the whole blame on Zia ul Haq. I think it's a process we've been through, you know, and it's a continuation of that. I mean, ZDB के ज़माने में देख ले, we lost a half of our nation.
Yes.
तो फिर
But that was
उसकी तो
before
कोई बात ही नहीं
ZDB.
करता.
Well, no, but it
नहीं,
was
उसकी तो कोई
at
बात ही
his...
नहीं करता. We lost half of a nation, you know. And I remember as soon as the war was over, Shazan was full. The coffee house was full of people celebrating.
But Jonathan, I'll be honest and blunt
Celebrating,
too. I'm
you know?
sorry, but us West Pakistanis, we had nothing but contempt for the East Pakistanis.
Whatever.
ZDB alone was not responsible.
But we
I
should have
think
given them.
there was enough sort of रंजिशें
तो-
थी, गिले थे, शिकवे थे, जो बहुत deep
उसी
rooted
वक्त
थे.
ये देना चाहिए था कि आप अपना देश बनाइए. Rather than going through the
I was
ugly
bound to,
war.
I mean.
Rather than going through the
What a
ugly war.
silly partition, though. I'm sorry. I mean, East Pakistan, that side, and West Pakistan, that side. I mean, please. Habib, I think मौजू फिर गुफ्तगू ज़्यादा गंभीर हो गई है और ज़्यादा संजीदा हो गई है. By the way, for the information of my viewers, सबिहा सुमार की बनाई हुई फिल्म खामोश पानी ने बहुत सारे बैनुल अक़वामी अवार्ड जीते हैं and it's much acclaimed. Cara Film Festival में भी it won, you know, the best film award. और मैंने खुद देखी और मैं आपसे ज़रूर गुजारिश करूँगी आप सबसे कि अगर आपको मौका मिले तो you must get buy a DVD and get it's a collector's item. I mean, आपको खुशी होगी अपनी वीडियो लाइब्रेरी में उसको शामिल करके. Coming back now to your personal life.
Yeah.
Filmmakers normally, जैसे अभी बात हो रही थी कि जुनूनी लोग होते हैं, you know, एक पैशन होता है कि ये आम लोगों के बस की बात नहीं है. You know, किस हद तक ऐसे लोगों की उनके प्रोफेशनल कमिटमेंट की वजह से उनकी पर्सनल लाइफ किस हद तक सफ़र करती है या नहीं करती है?
पर्सनल लाइफ तो एक तरह से काफ़ी सफ़र करती है बिकॉज यू नो बट आई थिंक दैट अगर आपको कोई चीज़ करने से खुशी मिले और आप खुश इंसान हो तो फिर आपका जो भी वक्त घर में गुजरता है अपने पर्सनल लाइफ में अपने हस्बैंड के साथ या बच्चों के साथ तो वो खुश वक्त गुजरता है. और अगर मैं सारा वक्त घर में रहूं और मैं ना खुश हूं तो फिर उससे भी कोई फ़ायदा नहीं है. But it is very taxing and there's a lot of travel and it's very tiring and being a Pakistani filmmaker it's an uphill task all the time the whole way because ये है कि अगर मैं अमेरिकन होती, जर्मन होती, इंडियन होती, फ्रेंच होती और मुझे इतने सारे इंटरनेशनल अवार्ड्स मिले होते तो अब तक मेरे पास बहुत सारे ऑफर्स मेरी अपनी कंट्री से आ रहे होते कि मैं ये करूं और वो करूं और वो करूं, you know. But Pakistan's not like that. I mean, Pakistan doesn't really recognize talent easily.
आगे के क्या इरादे हैं? अभी किसी चीज़ पे काम कर रही हो?
जी, I'm working on a new feature film called Rafina, and I'm just trying to gather the finances for it. That's always again a very, very difficult task because budgets are quite high.
Darling,
and
this one is
standards
here.
are very high.
Ask him.
Ask your brother to produce it for you.
No, ask Habib
You know,
Fida. He's got all the finances.
brothers are not they're not producers of films. I'm talking about professionalism here. I'm not talking about a feudal situation in which my brother and my father and, you know, my husband are supposed to cough
Yes.
up the money.
Yes.
I mean, we should, I mean, the biggest complaint I have of Pakistan is that it has a completely feudal mindset. And I have to say, I'm really disappointed in this approach, you know, to say कि भाई आपका भाई कर देगा. I mean, this is not itsy bit of money. This is huge sums of money. And I have a lot of support from my family. Of course I do, otherwise I wouldn't be here. But, I mean, like, you know, Nazi said, really have to start. I mean, if you want to see this film in Pakistan, then it's up to the people. I've done my job. I've made the film, you know. I've shown it. I've called the press. I've called distributors. I've shown it to television stations. If you're interested, as Pakistanis, to have this film, you know, out, you have to work for it, because I've done everything I could, and I need to move on to my next film.
Agree with you.
know?
No, Sabiha, but there are a lot of countries like Canada or even US and whatnot. They give special money, or Japan for that matter. They give money to
I
such
have
productions.
22 financiers from Europe and all over the world for Khamosh Pani.
Yeah.
I want among these 22 just one financier from Pakistan.
Habib was very kind. He gave me his tissue. This one, not any other. You know, you've been...
It's a virgin tissue.
I know, darling, it feels very soft. Sabiha ji, would you like to say something to my viewers?
Well, I've really had a lovely time being here with you. I've enjoyed your company and I've enjoyed our exchange. Thank you for calling me, and I hope that people will see Silent Waters. I hope that you're serious about your campaign.
I'm extremely serious. I am extremely serious.
अच्छी DVD कहाँ मिलेगी?
DVD अगर आपको pirated version चाहिए तो I think कहीं मिल
मैं तो
जाएगी.
अच्छी ली है.
अगर आपको अच्छा version चाहिए तो वो हमारे ऑफिस से मिलेगा.
मिल जाएगा? So I'll contact your office.
Please
I'll
do.
see the DVD that I have, but if it doesn't agree with
Please
me,
contact us at Vidhi Films and we'd be happy to give you a copy.
And lovely meeting you, Sabiha.
Nice meeting you
Wonderful.
too.
You know, she liked our exchange. I'm more into foreign exchange, darling, so arrange loads of it for me. मुझे यकीन है कि आज आप सबको मेरे यहाँ हबीब फिदा अली से मिलकर, सबीहा सुमार से मिलकर बहुत खुशी हुई होगी. जाने से पहले मैं फिर इसरार करूँगी कि अच्छी फिल्म, चूँकि ये इट्स नॉट अ फेवर आई एम आस्किंग, आई थिंक इट्स मैं आपके साथ एक आप अपनी मोहब्बत का इजहार कर रही हूँ आपके साथ, आपको ये मशवरा देकर कि आप ये फिल्म लीजिए, ख़रीदिए और इसको ज़रूर देखिए. एंड फॉर ऑल द डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर्स, डार्लिंग्स, आई थिंक यू नीड योर हेड्स एग्जामिन्ड, बिकॉज अगर देखने के बाद भी इस फिल्म को आपने सिनेमा तक नहीं पहुंचाया तो फिर आई एम सॉरी, इस मुल्क का कुछ नहीं हो सकता. बट आई एम नॉट टू एंड एट यू नो एक मायूस कुन बात पर मैं नहीं इस प्रोग्राम को रोकना चाहूँगी. उम्मीद अब भी है, इंशाल्लाह गुड थिंग्स विल हैपन. वी हैव गुड पीपल, वी हैव डेडिकेटेड पीपल लाइक हबीब फिदा अली, लाइक सबीहा सुमार, हुज जर्नी हैज़ जस्ट बिगन रियली, एंड शी अभी तो उसने बहुत मंजिलें और तय करनी है, एंड शील फाइंड माई हेल्प एंड माई सपोर्ट एवरी स्टेप ऑफ द वे. आप लोग अपना ख्याल रखिएगा, हमेशा अच्छी सोच को जहन में नशो नुमा उसकी कीजिएगा. एंड इंशाल्लाह नेक्स्ट वीक आई विल बी बैक विद टू वेरी interesting personalities. Until then, you take care of yourselves. Khuda Hafiz, Shabba Khair, Nawazish.